Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and today we're back on with the Famicom repair. First of all, apologies for not making a video sooner, but I've been rather under the weather over the last 10 days or so. I was very fatigued last week, not helped by the fact I got a rather nasty cold. Probably again not helped by the fact that the central heating packed up, and as of yet, I'm still waiting for a bloody part to arrive for the boiler. It's basically, I've got the, somewhere, where is it there? I've got the control board for the boiler here, and where is it? There should be a relay, which has decided to pack up, and unfortunately, because it's a boiler, it's a sealed relay, so I can't even get inside it and try and clean the contacts on it. So I've had to order a new one, all of £3, which is slightly better than like the 200 quid that they want to replace the circuit board for. So for the saving of the money, I suppose I don't mind too much being freezing cold in the house for a little while. But hey ho, enough of my problems. We'll get back onto the Famicom, and first thing, a bit of an omission. I was having some odd behaviour with it in the last video, as I saw. I swapped the PPU round, and I didn't quite get what I was expecting. And after that, I thought I must have made a mistake on the board when I was when I took the PPU off and put the IC socket on. I wondered, have I damaged? Had I broke a trace somewhere, or did I have a dry joint? So I went over and over the board, and I couldn't find anything at all. It was absolutely fine. I tried every trace, I checked I even got my little USB microscope out and went over all my joints, everything. They were spot on, and I couldn't figure it out. I tried re-cleaning the slots on the card slots, and they're absolutely fine. They're spotless. The games are new, and the contacts again are spotless. And it weren't until I'd actually given up and I'd left it for a bit, and I'd been feeling lousy for a few days, and I come up into the attic to get something, and I just sat down at the bench and I spotted it. And what we had was on the PPU was a tiny little bit. It must have come off the solder sucker, and there was a tiny little stray strand of solder just bridging a couple of the pins on one side there. And once I cleared that away and I tried the PPU in this board, I can confirm that both PPUs work. And so I said both PPUs definitely work. I can just show that now. I've slightly modified this board from last time. As you remember, I was just picking the video straight off the side of the PPU there. This is the PPU off the other board. What I've actually done now is, I don't know if you can see this, is on this revision board, which is, I think this is the early board, and is this the, no, this is the later board. The other one's the earlier board. If we actually look in there, I don't know if you can see this. I'll unplug it and show you after I've actually demonstrated this. But on this connector here, we have it marked V and A, and that's actually video and audio. So all I've done is on the back of the board here, I've broke the traces to the modulator because that's redundant now, and I've just picked up video, audio, and a ground line, so we can actually test the whether the audio works as well. So I will just I'll fire this up for you, and as you can see, well, for one thing, you can see, you heard there, we actually have audio now. Now, if you'll notice, it's actually in black and white, and the simple reason is that this is a cheap PAL TV, and it's being fed composite NTSC. So the audio works, and obviously you'll get an image, but it will be in black and white. But for testing, I mean, it proves that the audio on the system actually works. We can even select a game, I think. Can we select something? Oh, perhaps this controller. I'm sure that was working before. Let's just try that again. So I'm sure that was. It's just a bad connection. Let's try that again. No, for some reason this controller doesn't seem to be working at the moment. That's a bit of a pain. We've got some glitches there. Oh, it seems to be glitching out now. That seemed to be working fine before. Let's try switching off. Let's try reseating the cartridge in case I've bumped it about when I was messing around with it. No, there definitely seems to be something awry there. So let's try. I don't think that the issue will be with the PPU. Let's try the other CPU we've got, because what I have done is after I confirmed that both PPUs were working, I actually pulled the both CPUs out and fitted sockets, just so I can swap them between the two boards. Now let's pull this CPU out. I'll put that there, and we will put the other This is the I think this is the CPU that was originally on this board. So we'll put this CPU back in this board, and we'll see what happens. This is the CPU out of the board that we have been having problems with. Now, obviously, it's not completely dead, but let's see. Does this work now? Yeah, there we go. So I think we may have actually found out what the problem is. So let's try and play a game. Let's try Double Dragon. Well, that seems okay, doesn't it? Audio's definitely alright. In fact, the graphics aren't horrendous. I mean, it's actually not too bad in black and white. Anyway, let's stop that while we're playing that. So yeah, that seems to be working alright. Let's just try swapping them CPUs back. Just whiz this one out. And we will try the suspect. This is the original suspect CPU. We'll try that in this board until we've just proved that this board is definitely working. So we will we'll stick this back in there like that. We'll try again. So it can't be completely dead because it's actually firing it up, but we have absolutely no control. If we look there, it's not allowing the anything to work on the controller. So I think we may have at least one issue, is we've got a faulty CPU there. Now, I think what I'll do, just for interest, let's whip the PPU out of this one because it's got that little dodgy lead that I stuck on there on it. So let's just ease that out. Put that to one side, and we will put the other PPU that we've got, which is this one. We'll hang on, no, that's RP2A03. No, that is the CPU. This is the other PPU. Sorry. We'll put this other PPU in this board like that. Let's give that a try. And again, I don't think it's going to work. No. But it shows that both PPUs are definitely working. So let's shut that off for now. We'll disconnect it. Disconnect the power. We'll disconnect that controller. And we will unhook the video and the audio, and let's just get that one out of the way for now. Put that safely out of the way, and we'll get the board in, which is the board that we've been having all the problems with. So this is the board that we've so far not actually been able to get a game to run on. And we will install the known good CPU in it. Bear in mind, we've already tested the RAM in this board, and we've confirmed that the RAM's okay. So that's the known good CPU in there. We will put this known good PPU in that's got the video out hack on it. So that's in there. We can connect the obviously we can't do audio with this this one, but we've proved we've got audio working on the other one. So there we go. We've got the non-working PPU in there. We've got a non-working CPU in there. We'll shove a game in. We'll find the power again. That's definitely in the off position, yep. So let's connect power back up to it. Let's connect a controller just to see. I'm probably being a little forward connecting a controller up, you know, but we will see. The thing is that this has never actually got that far. It's not just been a dodgy controller issue with it. It's actually been completely black and dead. So this may have other issues with it. But we have tested known good SRAM. We've got tested known good PPU. We've got tested known good CPU. And quite frankly, there's very little else on one of these boards really to go wrong. We've got a little bit of 74 series logic in there, but I doubt it could be faulty. We've got a few transistors, again, it could be faulty. Anyway, let's switch this on and see what we get. And we get very little. It's obviously getting power because we get the flicker from the screen. But nothing else. Right, so that's interesting. So, actually, the good part of this is we now definitely know we've got a working CPU. We've got two working PPUs. We've got one working CPU. The other CPU is definitely iffy. So this one, in this board, at least it powers up, which it didn't in that board there. So at least this one powers up now. But when that CPU's in, none of the controllers or none of the controller side seems to work, and it seems to be starting to glitch. So like I said, I think that's faulty. This one seems to be fine. In fact, we'll just swap them back over. Just very gently take this one out. We'll take the known good one out of this this board. Transplant it over here. We'll put the slightly suspect one in this Famicom, just to see there's anything strange with revisions or anything, and we'll just try this one again. That's got its known working PPU in it and the suspect CPU, and again, it's no different. Let's just quickly try reseating the game. I don't think it'll make any difference. No. We'll just quickly switch back over onto the known good working one now. So I'll disconnect that. I'll disconnect that. And get this one out of the way. Plug this back in. Audio in there. Video video in there, and let's see, just check it again, and yet that works fine. So as we say, we now know we've got a faulty CPU, but as well as that we also have another fault on this board. It isn't just a faulty CPU, there's something else going on that board. So I suppose really the only other things I've got that I can test is that there's that transistor. I think it's not really relevant because that's to do with the video output, and we're tapping the video straight off the PPU there. We've got two transistors there which possibly could be suspect. There could be something wrong with the crystal isn't oscillating. I'll have to get the scope out and that could be a possibility. I'll get the scope out and make sure that I've got a clock on the CPU. That's something to check. Then really all we've got is this 74 series logic there, which there's a possibility there could be something wrong with, but again, it's unlikely. I'm betting it's either something to do with the crystal here, or perhaps one of these transistors which is faulty. So I will have to look a little bit further into that. But as since my last video that I did, I had this arrive. Left at the other side of the room, of course. I had this arrive, which is, get it out. That's Famicom number 3. Again, this one was another cheapie off eBay. I think it was like 12 or 13 quid delivered to the UK. So, and it's in very nice, quite nice, well, I'd say, yeah, very quite nice condition. There is a little yellow into the front of the case there, but it's far less than the other two that I've got. So no matter what, I will probably, the one that I'm going to do for my friend, I'll probably end up using this case because it is by far the nicer of the case. But I'm not going to do anything else with this one in this video today. We will leave looking into that one for a separate video. As well as that arriving, I've also got these arrive. I've been thinking about how I'm going to do my composite mod to the these Famicoms, and do it in a way which is not going to be too obtrusive, which isn't going to look too bad. So what I've come up with is, if I can get one out of the packet, I've got some of these, which are AV cables. We've got left-right audio, composite video, and it's a four contact 3.5 phono jack there. So it's tip, ring, ground, and these are quite hard to get, but I managed to get some tip, ring, ground connectors. These are about £1.50 each, and I think there was only about one seller in the UK I could actually get them from. And if you look, they do work, but when you connect them in, they do leave a little bit of a gap there. I don't know if you can see that, but this actually works to our advantage. Because what I've decided, what I thought I would do on the, I'll show you on this one. That connector, the old RF connector on the Famicom there. On either board, it doesn't really matter which revision. As you can see, it's fixed into a piece of metalwork like that. And what my plan is to actually remove that from the back of the RF modulator and put that socket there in its place like that, if you can see. Now, what happens if you do that, there's just enough room inside the Famicom then that, this is hard to do holding it all, but if you look at that there, if that goes in like that, if you can see, it just lines up nicely. So this connector will basically just plug in like that into the back of the Famicom, and apart from the connector being different there on the back, there's going to be no need to drill any holes or do any other external mods to the Famicom to actually get the AV out of it. So that's how I'm going to tackle that. I'm going to leave this video here for now. I think next time we will get on with seeing if we can actually troubleshoot what is wrong with this board. Like I said, we know we've got a CPU fault, but that shouldn't stop us actually getting something on the screen. We know that actually is probably going to be a good test CPU to keep. I'll mark it up with its fault, that there's seems to be no joystick activity on it. But like I say, it's a good one for testing in the future unknown systems. Like I said, we'll just mark that up with what its fault is and that it does actually display graphics. But we will see if we can find out actually what is wrong with that board and see if we can get that board working. I'd rather keep this board myself as my test board, because now it's got everything that you'd ever really need socketed up. I could, I suppose, socket up some of the logic. I could socket everything up on it and just not bother ever putting it back in a case, really, which actually I might do. I might do that with this one. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.